otherwise known as the infantry tank Mark I, was popularly known as the Matilda, being the code name that the War Office had given it. That name, for reasons that no one's ever quite discovered then, was adopted for the second infantry tank in our series, which is probably the more famous of the Matildas. These tanks served in small numbers with the British Expeditionary Force in France. They served with great verve in the Western Desert, especially in the early campaigns. They served on the Russian front, quite a number of them sent to Russia under the East End arrangement, and most notably with Australian tank battalions in the Far East, in the fighting on the Pacific Islands. The Matilda is probably one of the most sophisticated tanks Britain turned out during the Second World War. It's powered by a pair of diesel engines side by side at the back, steered by rather an unusual air-assisted gearbox and clutch system, which actually makes it fairly easy to drive. But it is built of castings and welded parts that actually made it a pretty slow and difficult tank to assemble. It's fitted with power traverse, which means that the turret will now go round at the touch of a button without having to wind it round. It is armed with what the Army would know as a 2-pounder gun. The British Army took a long time to get the idea of describing guns by the weight of their shells out of their system. I always think they probably got it from Nelson. It was a very effective weapon in its day. Notice on the back of the tank you've got extended range fuel tanks. That was particularly necessary in the desert. But you often find, you talk to the veterans again, they'll tell you they preferred to fill them with water. They found water far more useful and scarcer to get than diesel fuel, even in the middle of the desert. The tank is painted up to represent a tank commanded by a VC holder, General Foote as he became, won a VC at the Battle of Gazala.
We've supplied quite a lot of them to the Battle of Gazala. But one of the things is because highly particularly in the Irish campaign because the Japanese tanks they were up against were never really a match until right up to the end of the war. So you would have found the Matilda in Australia.